Hello, everyone. Welcome to Narene's Life with MS. This is Narene, and it's time for Slowdown Saturday. And this Slowdown Saturday, I wanted to talk about something that really made me reconsider how much undue focus we actually put on you know, health and all of these different things, right? Protein shakes, getting the right dose of everything, and, having the right food. And the reason I say this is actually a very funny story. So, my dad got a smart scale. It was a pretty cool smart scale where you step on it, it gives you your mass in kilos, right? It's not your weight, it's your mass. um, just being a physics guy here, but yes, it gives you your mass in kilos. And then in the corner it also tells you what your body fat percent is. So I was like, okay, cool. So I step on it, I get my weight, it never changes. And then my body fat percentage was also written there. So I was like, okay, cool. I found out that I'm hefty. And so I was like, okay, fine. I probably have to work on this. And, that was it. Now, now. It turns out that there is an attached app. And it just so happened that when I downloaded the app and, got on the scale, and the Bluetooth was on my phone, I got a whole lot more uh, in including my weight and my body fat percent, my BMI, my how much protein I have, how much this I have, how much that I have, how obese I am, essentially. And here's the funny thing: the time in between where I first stepped on the scale and I got my weight and just my body fat percent versus the time that um, that I actually used the app to see it, I'd say about 2 hours had passed, just 2 hours. And in those 2 hours, I did nothing besides sitting on the carpet watching a movie. And yet, despite doing absolutely nothing, not even using the washroom, not sweating, not moving, not doing anything, I lost 600 grams. And so the fact that I was hefty earlier suddenly turned into, oh no, I'm the perfect size. I've got the perfect body fat percentage. My BMI is in the, you know, average or whatever they want to call it category. Everything was just perfect, like spot on perfect, more or less. In fact, I had certain things where it actually told me that I have the ability, I have some great protein processing power or something like that. And that, you know, I can probably gain muscle very, very quickly. Now, someone needs to tell my muscles that, to be perfectly honest. But, what this went on to show is that considering that only 2 hours had passed in between my first weigh in, and my second weigh in, and that I had lost over 600 grams in those 2 hours despite doing nothing, makes me feel that maybe we're honestly putting a little too much emphasis on health, right? I mean, when we think about, our forefathers and our ancestors, now I'm not going all the way back like 500-600 years, but if I think about, my grandparents, my grandfather lived up until he was 91. My grandmother, my mom's side, she lived until she was 81. And that makes me think that, okay, if that's sort of a good age range to be, right? 81 to 91. I definitely know for a fact that, they weren't doing as much of the counting calories, or, you know, being all health nuts essentially. I mean, yes, their generation was definitely a lot healthier. They had less processed foods, less they would walk around a lot more. They would definitely have more active lives, um, just because that was part of their livelihood. So knowing all of that, one thing I definitely found realized was that y- you know the only thing that actually happened in those 2 hours, wherein I weighed myself, got the bad stuff done, then downloaded an app, weighed myself again, and got better news. The only thing that changed was that I actually had ice cream, which made me happy. So it suddenly made me realize that maybe if I was happier, if I um, stay happier, maybe my weight will just essentially decrease. Maybe I will just turn out to be a much healthier individual when I am happy. And, I just found it very funny because I honestly don't know how much my dad spent on the weighing scale. But the one thing I do know is that I have not heard of another person losing 600 grams. I mean, when we're talking 600, I mean, that's like over a pound. Losing that much in, you know, literally while doing nothing, right? Literally while sitting on the ground, watching TV, eating ice cream, and 600 grams just shed right then and there. And, considering I'm also in my 30s now, it actually told me that my age was higher than it actually is. So that kind of bummed me out. But still, despite that, the fact that, you know, just sitting down made me lose weight kind of makes me feel happy, and realize that maybe a better idea of judging our health is to just know that, at any one point in time, when we're about to weigh ourselves, we should do something that makes us happy, right? Hanging out with family, hanging out with friends, eating, having ice cream, doing something that just makes us feel a little happier, gets the endorphins flowing. And or maybe endorphins are more associated with exercise, so maybe not that, but other things that do make the happy chemicals flow. Maybe if we focus on that, maybe we'll shed the pounds that we want, or at least be in the process of shedding those pounds. So, what do you think about this story? What are your thoughts, your insights, your experiences? Have you actually ever noticed that, you, before having ice cream, you were actually heavier and a lot and a lot less healthy than you after having ice cream? Please do share your comments. Please do share your thoughts, your opinions, so that we can get the conversation started. And I do hope that your weekend is going very well. And of course, to end us all, this is Narend's with MS. I am Naren, and here is me wishing you a good night, sweet dreams, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye.